What is up, everybody? Welcome to this Trainwreck Sports Podcast, where we are not here to play school. We're here to preview Week 9 of the college football season. Week 9. We're just moving right along here. It's an SEC filled, as it has been really all season. The SEC is the deepest league, and it's an SEC filled week.
Is it really though?
And I think it is.
This was a conversation on Twitter earlier this week where they were talking about it, where there's like X amount of 5-2 teams or in the SEC that are ranked compared to the amount of Big Ten teams that are ranked, and like why are certain teams ranked when they shouldn't be, like comparatively or whatever. Like Illinois is a team that's not ranked right now, but their only 2 losses on the season are to the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country. And they have a ranked win. But like, why are like some of these SEC teams ranked? Oh, it's like, well, the SEC teams have ranked wins. It's like because everyone just and you've been talking about the entire college football season about preseason rankings. Well, they got that ranked win against LSU. LSU is not good.
Why is LSU even in the top 25 still? Why is Texas still in the top? Now Illinois is in the top 25 right now. They are number 23.
Okay, but why are they 20? Why are they 23? Like compared, it's like.
Why is Tennessee 17? Why? Yeah. Yes. Why? Yeah.
Like what? Like it's just like this. Like whatever you want to say. That it is clear like SEC bias, from AP voters from ESPN. We're gonna see the same thing when the playoff poll first comes out, because ESPN owns the college football playoff and also has all the media rights for the SEC. Who would have thought that would have created like some imbalance with coverage or rankings? So that's my thing about like the SEC. It's like, is it really that like all these teams every single team is obviously the top 25 team in the country? No, are they really? No. The
lesson of the week is all sports are fixed. Don't gamble anything.
Yeah, you can cover that on your other podcast.
It's all of them, everything. NFL, NBA.
I want to go back and find it because I think it was I think it was Wob put out a thing, and he was like his like preseason takes or whatever, and it was like over under how many like betting scandals there are or something, and I was like, we're only 3 days into the season, we're already hitting the over on that. But what a time!
What a time!
You never see that in college football. There's never been a scandal in college football.
Never.
You did. Did you see today that they all 3 divisions of college football voted on it, that players and personnel can bet on pro sports?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw that from Nicole Auerbach.
Those guys don't have anybody in the league that they could talk to or get inside information from or anything like that.
Hey, they're not in the league at the moment, so it's okay.
Yeah, I guess so. But let's get into some SEC talk as we are potentially. So are you saying that potentially Missouri and Vanderbilt a little overrated? Number 10 versus number 15. College game day.
Which is cool.
In Nashville this week.
People were complaining about it. I'm okay with it. It's first time that Vanderbilt has hosted college game day since 2008. It's only their second time that they're on college, and the second time this year that they're on game day, but their first time hosting it. I mean, I'm okay with it, obviously. So they were talking about, people were like, well, how come they're not doing like FCS versus FCS or whatever? And it's like the two most recent times they've gone to the FCS or whatever, and it's been those same teams that they would try to do it for this week. So it makes sense that Vanderbilt gets this little bit of shine. Obviously, it's in Nashville too, so that's gonna be like a cool atmosphere. So I'm okay with the game day being here. Are these two teams the 15th and 10th team in the country? No. And I said before that they're both these teams are 6-1 right now. It's gonna, at least now we can clear the way a little bit with these SEC losses. Where Missouri loses, they're not gonna be in playoff contention at all. They're gonna have a loss to Vanderbilt and Bama. Vanderbilt losers are gonna have a loss to Bama and Missouri, and they're like SEC race is gonna be kind of like sewed up for them. 2 SEC losses, that's not gonna be good enough for you going forward at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a really big matchup here, just for the simple fact of, as we were talking about last week, some playoff elimination games coming down the stretch here. This is definitely one of them. I'm in complete agreement with you. So what are you looking at with this game? What are your ideas? We got 2 really good quarterbacks in this one. Bo Prabula and Diego Pavia have been playing great this year. Electric offenses. Hey man, he's been good this year.
He against bad teams. He hasn't been good against good teams. Since Missouri started SEC play, he has a sub 60% pass completion percentage each game. He's thrown 5 interceptions in those 3 games. 2 of them are against Bama, when one was the costly game-clinching interception. All his stats are coming from the beginning of the year when they were lighting it up against fucking Mercer or whatever. Not they didn't play Mercer, but he has only 5 total touchdowns in those the 3 SEC games. I mean, I don't know. Their running back is great. I'll say that. Ahmad Hardy, who's got 840 yards rushing, which is awesome. 3rd in the country, and he's got 11 touchdowns, which is the 2nd most in the country. He's lighting it up. Bo Billa, I think, was a merchant of their early season schedule that all these big schools have, or for the most part, and was riding high on that, and now he's fallen into shambles. Diego, I don't know. We've seen him have these clutch moments, and he's obviously not a bad quarterback. I don't know if he's one of the top quarterbacks in the country. I wouldn't necessarily say. The bigger story to me, as a Penn State and Big Ten fan, is which one of these coaches is going to be Penn State's next head coach, because they're both heavily rumored, which I think is hilarious.
Urban Meyer is going to be Penn State's next head coach.
Most likely. Yes.
Urban Meyer meeting with a senator from Pennsylvania this week.
Well, that could be for anything. Maybe he's going to run for
office. That could be for that could be for anything. Yeah, I'm sure Urban's just out here meeting with senators every week for breakfast, just for some chats.
Urban Meyer head coach, Luke Fickell, his OC.
I think DC it would be, right? Wasn't he the defensive coordinator? I
thought he was offensive. Maybe he's defensive.
I think defensive.
I can't remember.
So probably.
Yeah. Well, Fickell still hasn't got fired from Wisconsin, but nevertheless, Missouri. I think Missouri is honestly a better team than Vandy. They, like I said, Ahmad Hardy is an awesome running back. They have 21 sacks on the season, which is 5th in the SEC, but it's pretty high overall. It's tied for 6th in the country, but it just happened to be 5th in the SEC. And Damon Wilson's got 5.5 sacks. Zion Young's got 5.5. They don't get a lot of turnovers, but they're only letting up 16 points a game. And so I like Missouri in this game, even though it's going to be on the road against Vandy. And not that Vandy's a bad team at all. Like I said, Diego, we've seen him have these big moments. He's got the 3rd most touchdowns in the SEC, 15. And the running back Cedric Alexander is good in the run game and the pass game. He's got 10 total touchdowns, 6 of them rushing. So they're solid. They have 20 sacks on the season too. So they both these teams can get to the quarterback. So it's just going to be who's going to make the bigger mistake. And even though I was just bashing on Bo Perbilla, I would say that him and Ahmad Hardy together is going to be able to get enough done against this team.
I think so too. I think that this is I've really liked. I know that it's been up and down for Perbula in the SEC play and everything, but I think Missouri is just a solid team throughout the roster, and Vanderbilt living on the edge a little bit, as we talked about, some of these just clutch moments from Pavia, and he is a baller when it comes down to these moments, but I don't know, man. I want to see, I just want to just keep seeing it from Vanderbilt in these big matchups. Do they really feel like a team that's going to go 10-2 this year potentially? Or does it feel more like an 8-4 SEC team? It's always felt like it was going to be more like an 8-4 year. No one expected them to be in this spot in the middle of the season. And this is really one of their toughest tests left, but this is a tough test facing this Missouri team, well coached, really sound all the way through. In an explosive offense, averaging, and I know you said a lot of it is from earlier in the season, but averaging 39 points per game, 12th in the country, that is crazy. But Vanderbilt has an explosive offense themselves too, where you can expect, at the very least, we can expect fireworks in this game, no matter what. That's what we're going to be able to get out of this. I believe the over under. I just had it here.
Is it 55? Maybe that was
52.5.
52.5.
So. They're expecting it as we have here, 2.5 point favorites for Vanderbilt. So you don't think that either of these teams have any shot, even if they win this game, have any shot at winning the SEC?
No, because I still think the SEC the championship is going to run through the Georgia or Bama.
That's fair.
I guess you could even say A&M right now at this point. That's highly possible too. Texas, I don't know. Texas just has looked too inconsistent to me with their offense. That even though they're 5-2 right now, and they easily enough like have a good chance. I mean, they still have to play Georgia, they still have to play A&M. So this stretch can be hard for them. They're probably going to get another loss on the season, so end up like 9-3, maybe 8-4. So I'm going with Georgia or Bama. Obviously, Bama undefeated in SEC play. Georgia only has the one loss, and I'm completely undefeated right now. So I mean that's always like possible. They do have a hard test though, like that. Even like I just said, that Texas game and Texas being ranked back in the rankings again. A&M is at Texas to end the year, and rivalry games are so weird. You never know what could happen. And the Texas defense is still elite, so if it could cause enough fits for Marcel Reed down the line, then that might ruin their SEC title chances. So I think Georgia or Bama, I think it's just running through them this year. And obviously, both these teams already have a loss to Alabama, so like they're already at a major disadvantage right there.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I think these teams are a tier below. So what do you think is going to happen in this game?
I think Missouri will win. I'm going to say like 38-31. I think it'll be high scoring. I think I'll take the over on it. I think it'll be fun, exciting little matchup. It's game day, but is it actually is it actually 7:30? Is it
3:30?
3:30. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. The 3:30 window.
Yeah, right. Which we were talking about because of it's kind of like the
7:30 is they got Death Valley at night. LSU hosting A&M there, and then
which is an old not old rivalry, but was a rivalry for a while in the SEC every Thanksgiving.
As I said, old. It's been like 10 years.
No, I just mean that it's like they were like pushed into being rivals for each other because when A&M didn't have like a clear rival in the SEC at first, but.
Yeah, nice little matchup there. But let's get into the noon game, and we got Ole Miss traveling to Oklahoma. What do you think about this? Also, kind of an elimination, even though they're higher. Well, they're not really, I guess, that much higher ranked teams. But Ole Miss at number 8, Oklahoma at number 13. It's both 6-1. Ole Miss coming off last Saturday's loss at Georgia in Athens there, and Oklahoma is coming off a win at South Carolina, but a couple weeks ago lost to Texas. So another same situation where it feels like it could be a playoff elimination game, an SEC title elimination game, but I can't expect the fireworks. I don't expect the fireworks. This is more of a strength on strength matchup where Oklahoma has an elite defense, and we know how Ole Miss's offenses are historically and have been this year. But Trinidad Chambliss last week had some struggles early on against Georgia. They were able to get back in that game. They were able to stay in that game, but it wasn't a pretty game by any means. And this is a tough road stretch. And we talked about it with Ole Miss, looking at this schedule. It was a ridiculous stretch that they have to go through. And if they could go 2-1 through the LSU, Georgia, Oklahoma games, they'd be in really good shape for the playoff and everything else, because the rest of their schedule looks, besides the Egg Bowl at the end of the year, looks pretty light. So I don't know. You got Venables on the hot seat here. What do you think's going on there?
Just from what I see on Twitter is like people are just like he's just not the guy. Is that he's like they can't even though he obviously is like Oklahoma through and through, kind of bright guy, wasn't going to leave the Clemson DC job unless it was for Oklahoma. And obviously he can recruit well, but then kind of just has these flash in the pan twice now in these different seasons that he's had where they've gone 6-6. Last year that happened. They had a year in the Big 12 where it happened. And this year obviously out to a hot start 6-1, but you lose to your biggest rival, and now you're obviously favorites in this game, but kind of on the back burner. From what I've seen, it's just a lot of Oklahoma fans who are just not pleased with him in general. But I mean, how many programs, I guess, or how many fan bases are happy with their head coach at any given time? But just that it doesn't seem like they're vibing too well with Venables right now. This game, interesting because it is a protected rivalry after this season for at least 3 years. The SEC was picking 3 teams for each or whatever, and so Ole Miss and Oklahoma is one, which Lane Kiffin was very not happy about at all. He was like, "What do we have in common with them? What do our fan bases have in common with them? We don't have the same culture. It doesn't mesh in." It's like, well, maybe they'll make a nice new rivalry for you.
That's the whole point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you talked about Trinidad Chambliss. I think down the stretch he looked a little rough, but I thought he came out firing well, and Ole Miss was moving the ball really well against Georgia's defense. And we spent all last week talking about how, or at least I did, Georgia's defense and Kirby Smart, you can't count them out. And are we forgetting how good they are? And I've done that twice now this season, the Tennessee game and the Ole Miss game, which they both won, but they got thrown all over and run all over it and let up a lot of points in both those games. I wouldn't be surprised if Ole Miss is doing that again to Oklahoma. Oklahoma, first in the country with 28 sacks. They can get to the quarterback, but their offense is getting stagnant right now because John Mateer dealing with that thumb injury. And obviously is not fully healthy and is trying to play through it, but he has been the tale of two different quarterbacks for this season so far. He had 3 interceptions against Texas in the Red River Shootout. He only had no touchdowns at all. He had 1 touchdown pass last week against South Carolina. And he is just a non-factor in the run game now. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it's like 8 carries for like 25 yards in the last 2 games combined. No touchdowns. And Trinidad looks great. And he met the moment last week. That was a big thing. It's like he's playing in front of more people in Athens than he played in front of in all of his road games the year before when he was in D2. And he met the moment and looked solid. I mean, he ended up with a couple of interceptions, but he had some good touchdowns. I think I would go with Ole Miss in this game. Even though Oklahoma's favorite, I think it'll be close. But I just think like Kiffin seems like what I was bashing for last week, where they couldn't seem like they weren't ready to meet the moment. Even though that in that game obviously was ended up being 1 score, he was getting them going, and that offense looks great. So I'm gonna stick with Ole Miss. What do we have? What are they? How many points a game do they have right now? They average
37.4,
which is 16th in the country. Yeah, that's
yes.
pretty solid. I'm gonna go with Ole Miss. I'm gonna say 27-20.
Okay. I'm also going with Ole Miss in this game. I don't think Oklahoma's in the same class as this Ole Miss team. Ole Miss, and you know what? We talked about a quarterback who's a gamer. Gunnar Stockton is just that guy too. Like Gunnar Stockton doesn't need to look excellent, but if he's pushed his back against the wall in the 4th quarter, he's going to start making some plays, and that's what he was able to do right at the beginning. I mean, Georgia was electric right to start that 4th quarter last week. Like they are such a mentally strong team. But I'm with you. I don't think Oklahoma fans, I think, are spoiled because they're used to dominating the Big 12, where they were able to recruit better than everybody else and had that dominance, where the SEC, it's just never going to happen. This is a really good Oklahoma team. And the Mateer injury is very unfortunate because of everything you said earlier. I think that derailed their season a little bit. But they're in position here where if Oklahoma win, like we're talking about Ole Miss's schedule looking not too bad down the stretch. Oklahoma wins. They have a murderer's row left, right? Like, so this is just kind of a game where it feels like they're kind of losing track of the season. You know what their schedule is the rest of the way?
No.
It is Ole Miss, at Tennessee, a bye, at Alabama, home to Missouri, home to LSU.
Yeah.
So like it's a team where we haven't even seen them play the best part of their schedule yet. They have the loss to Texas, and Texas did not look impressive last week following up on that win. Like there was
everything that I saw, though, is people talking about that, and they're like, it's a rite of passage to have a night game in Lexington where you barely win. Like you escape.
But and I know you don't like the charts. I know that you're not a fan of the charts, but I love the how bad did your team actually get beat chart that comes out every week, and Kentucky was like second to last on that of they should have won that game, like on the opposite side of how bad did your team get beat chart. So and that's how it felt watching that game. Like I was, you were watching, it's like, how is Texas like in this? They're not doing anything. It's a mess. So I'm just saying, like, we haven't even really I'm surprised Oklahoma is even this big of a favorite because we haven't even seen them play the tough part of their schedule. We've seen Ole Miss in these games, and Ole Miss with 1 loss against Georgia on the road by 1 score and then dominating the rest of their schedule. I think this Ole Miss team is just levels ahead of this Oklahoma team. I honestly think they can win by 2 scores.
Oh, I mean, that's possible. It all depends on, like, obviously, like, Oklahoma, we talk about, they have 28 sacks on the year. 17 different players with at least half a sack, which is just crazy. But also put this in kind of like, a lot of that is the Auburn game that they had earlier this year, where they got to Jackson Arnold 10 times, 9 times, whatever it was. So that's carrying a lot of that weight. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I'm sticking. Obviously, I said I'm sticking with Ole Miss, but I don't know about 2 scores. I think though that Chambliss will get it done. And their Lacey, their running back, who did not really have a good game against Georgia, he only had like 31 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. So obviously, as long as like I have all the confidence in the world, if they can get to the goal line, I think they're going to be scoring. And they just, Harrison Wallace has kind of been a non-factor the last 3 games after starting out really strong. So if they can get him going more, especially in like this deep threat of like the passing game, then they're gonna, control this game pretty easily. But yeah, Ole Miss 27-20. What's your score prediction? You said multiple scores, but
38-23. That's my prediction.
Okay. All right.
Let's get into the MAC.
Before we go, if this is going to be a possible protected rivalry, we got to come up with a name for it. I mean, the Rebels and the Sooners, which are they're both like traitors technically.
That's what I was just thinking. They're kind of like this.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the same. They're both rebellious. The Sooners are very rebellious.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Rebel.
Rebel Alliance.
Yeah. I was just say Rebel scum, but I don't think they want to say that from the Empire. Something with a rebellion. It has to be because the Sooners, while not exactly a rebellion, like they were rebelling. They were like, you know what? We're taking this land. We don't give a shit.
Yeah.
What rules are you giving us? We're going there before you do anything.
Taking this land early. Yeah. So
it is kind of wild. Both these team names are pretty wild. Like the fact that Oklahoma is just like, yeah, we'll just be the Sooners, whatever.
Accepting it. Yeah.
Yeah, and same with Ole Miss. Like it's interesting.
Yeah, you're not hiding their heritage too much there.
No, not quite. That being said, we think Ole Miss is going to win this football game. Let's go back up north instead of going down south. We're going back up north. Western Michigan, Miami of Ohio. And this is going to be a great matchup here. Both 3-0 in the MAC. UB, the only team ahead of them right now. It's a race towards the MAC title game here. So this is a pivotal matchup here. Miami of Ohio leads the series 38-24-1, and they broke a 8-game losing streak to Western Michigan in 2023. Listen, this is the Western Michigan defense is legit. One of the best defenses in the country. Miami of Ohio does not have a great offense. They have a pretty strong defense themselves. I want to check the spread on I had it earlier too. I need to just start writing these down into the thing, but I'm pretty sure it's very.
Yeah. You're talking about Western Michigan's defense.
41.5.
Yeah. It's not crazy. Western Michigan's defense has only allowed 16 points to MAC opponents this year. They're 3-0 in the MAC, like you said. 13 of those points were to Toledo, who everyone picked as early favorite in the MAC. And 3 points to UMass, and then they shut out Ball State last week, 42-0. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We talk about not Oregon, excuse me. Talk about Oklahoma, 28 sacks in the league. Who's tied with them? Number 1 in the country? Western Michigan, 28 sacks. Nadame Tucker, 8.5 sacks this year, defensive lineman, which is tied for 4th in the country. I mean, they could just wreak havoc and get to the quarterback and shut teams down, which is kind of crazy. And they're like, obviously, a lot of their this is kind of what we're talking about too. Like, you could talk about their ranking in the country for points against them. But that just factors in so much of like these, like they played Illinois earlier this year, when they played Michigan State. So like those are higher point games that they lost to, but 16 points only allowed in the MAC through 3 games. So what is that? That's 5.3 points they're allowing. That's insane. That's not even a touchdown. You got to have a safety. It's crazy to even think about that. And like you said, Miami Ohio's defense not bad either. They have 22 sacks in the country right now, or they have 22 sacks on the season, and they've caused 10. They can get a lot of picks. They have 9 interceptions on the year as a team, which is pretty impressive. 10 turnovers. I don't know. I would look at their linebacker, Adam Trick. He's got 5.5 sacks on the season. He's got 34 tackles. And they're not up 22 points a game, like overall. I don't know what exactly it is in the MAC for them, but It's gonna be a very, very defensive battle. And
and the key I think to this game comes down to the red zone. Miami's offense, Mo, is 119th in the country in the red zone. They don't convert in the red zone. And Western Michigan on the flip side, 7th on red zone defense. And Western Michigan also, their offense 56th in the country on third downs. Lowry has done a great job scrambling and getting those third downs. Miami's defense 123rd on third down conversions. And Western Michigan also 17th in time of possession this year. So Western Michigan, the path for Western Michigan, especially on the road here, is they have the ball for 35 minutes. They convert on third down, and the red zone defense stands up, and that's the easy path. It feels like Miami. That's why they're such a small underdog at home. While they're giving them respect for what they've done and been able to do here, situationally, Western Michigan and just honestly across the board, statistically wise, is a superior team coming into this matchup. But it's hard to win on the road in the MAC. We've seen that. Yeah. Like, look at, we talk about UB being 3-0, and they've played two teams in the MAC who might be two of the worst teams in the MAC, in Kent State and UMass, and had trouble in both those games on the road. Like, and that's not a nature because of UB is not a good team. It's just that in this conference, it's hard to go on the road in the conference and get wins. Like you have to put out battles there. There's a lot of parity.
There's a lot of parity in the MAC. It's everybody can beat. Like, I mean, we say that in college football anyways. It's like anybody can beat anybody, but it's especially true in the MAC where all these teams play so they're close. I mean, this is a stat from a couple years ago where it was like 8 years in a row where it was a different MAC champion, and that's just like absurd. It's like, and there's like had been like every matchup that you could do or whatever at some point. So I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. Like you said, quarterback Brock Lowry, and DeQuan Finn. Brock Lowry, quarterback for West Michigan, DeQuan Finn for Miami of Ohio. They're both the leading passer and rusher for their team. So I mean, that's as much as anything to watch from the defensive side of the ball too. Is if one of these guys just looks off, then you're looking at the whole team is kind of floundering, and they're kind of lost as what to do. And neither one's laying it up too much in like the touchdown department. They're kind of both being like just like steady, but two dual threat quarterbacks. And it's interesting to see what they can do against two good defenses.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going with Western Michigan. I think Western Michigan gets this done 20-10. Going under.
I'll have it even closer. I'm going to say 20-17.
Okay. All right. So it's a big game, though.
21-17. But
I like that. Big game. Buffalo fans, UB fans should be locked in on this to see.
Why is UB ahead of them, though? So if you look at the standings, they're all three of them are 3-0, but UB is the top. Is it just because of like points for?
No, it's not that. I'm not sure what the tiebreaker would be, to be honest.
Which good for UB.
And UB this week gets Akron at home. They're 9.5-point favorites, and they do play Miami later in the season, also at home on a Wednesday night. What's that?
No Western Michigan this year. I looked earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, no Western, but they get Miami at home Wednesday, November 19th, before finishing up with Ohio at home the day after Thanksgiving. So really interesting road to the MAC title. The MAC is, I mean, we look at the standings there. Everybody really still in play, like Ball State, Central, Ohio only at 2-1. A lot of different ways that could go down the stretch there, but this is a big one this week, so we'll be locked in on Oxford. It's good
to be back talking about the MAC because now things have settled a little bit. We can actually, a lot of those early season games for the MAC teams was like nothing too crazy to look at, but now we're still in actually.
But my Kent State Golden Flashes get the Bowling Green Falcons this week. Drew Pine at quarterback.
Drew Pine from Notre Dame?
Yes.
I didn't know he was still playing football. I'll be honest.
Me neither. Until I was getting ready for this game.
Wow.
I'm trying to find
a string of four-letter last name quarterbacks that they had. Jack Cohn was a part of that. Drew Pine. It's kind of crazy that they are around.
Do you know what the name of the Kent State Bowling Green rivalry is? It's a trophy that was introduced in 1985, but the two schools began playing each other in 1920.
So the name of the trophy, the name of the rivalry?
Well, it's really just the name of the trophy is the name of the rivalry.
I'm gonna say like the Golden Eagle Cup or something. Yeah.
It is the Anniversary Award.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Well, yeah,
They started playing in 1920, and then they initiated the trophy in 1985. Bowling Green leads the series big, 62 to 24 and 6. And since the trophy has come out, it's 27-12. Bowling Green.
Who is favored in that game right now?
It's Bowling Green by 7.5. It's in Kent. Right. It was given out in 1985 to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the founding of each school.
Oh, okay. All right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So we got a rivalry matchup to get into here too. Kansas State at Kansas. Kansas, the favorite here, which is not unusual for how this has played out over the last couple years. KU has not beat Kansas State since 2008.
Yes.
That is an absurd streak for this rivalry because there's been a lot of bad Kansas teams throughout there, but there's been some good ones since then too. And 2008 was like the best Kansas team ever.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense that was the year. But man, a 16 game losing streak to your rival is a tough pill to swallow. So being favored here, huge opportunity for the Fighting Lance Leipold's.
Yeah. In the Sunflower Showdown, which you did not know it was called this, but yeah, Sunflower Showdown. It's crazy. When I was looking up, I was like, I feel like this is probably like a fairly back and forth. It's right. It's like it hasn't been that crazy. No, it is that crazy. It's Kansas State has dominated for 16 years now. Coming into this underdogs, they're 3-4. Kansas is 5-2, right? I believe. And two great quarterbacks, honestly. Like Avery Johnson, has not been as good as we wanted him to be this season at all, as college football fans, especially out of what we saw out of him. But it's still
the hype around Avery Johnson was crazy from what I've seen from him playing football.
Yeah, it's not like he ain't doing that, but he's still good. He's a 13 passing touchdown the season, only 2 interceptions. Jalen Daniels for Kansas has been awesome. He's got 18 touchdowns on the year. He's also only has 2 interceptions. I just expect fireworks out of this game. Honestly, that's what I want to look forward to. Is just a high scoring game at noon, on TNT, which is odd, but I mean that's just exciting to see what's going to happen in this, and to see if Kansas can finally get off the schneid and finally win a game in this rivalry. I mean they hold the all-time record 65 to 52, and I can't remember the ties exactly, but think about that, they hold the all-time record still by 13 games, but they lost 16 in a row. They need to get back into a fighting shape and kind of take charge of what this rivalry used to be. So that's just a fun one to look at this year. It's not really for anything huge stakes in the Big 12. Kansas State's kind of out of that at this point. Kansas, I guess, is still fighting for one of their losses to Missouri, so that's only an SEC loss, or non-conference.
That was an electric game too.
Yeah, and that's a non-conference loss, so you got to worry about. That's a rivalry game too. So it's you lost that. It's you lose one rivalry game, you really got to win another. You can't be the team that's losing against all your rivals. So.
That's true. Yeah,
I'm going to say Kansas. Yeah.
I think Kansas gets it done. I think Kansas State covers, though. I'm going 24-23. I think it's right.
So I'm going to go
right down to the wire.
I'll say 30, 35, 33.
Okay. Yeah, the over-under is 56.5 on that.
Yeah, I think we're getting the over in that. Yeah.
Just a couple other games to run through. Texas at Mississippi State. Tough spot for Texas, the way they looked offensively last week against Kentucky.
Very.
This is another tough environment to go into. Mississippi State, they're a good team. I don't know about the Longhorns this week.
It's just I don't know. And maybe it's we talk about rivalries, and that's how you can get up for them. That's the Texas offense and the way Arch played against Oklahoma, which is a good defense, which is night and day compared to how he played against Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. I think they really need to. They still do not have a run game. That's the biggest thing too. Is that there is no consistent run game at all. So all the pressure is on Arch, and this offensive line we've talked about is just not. It's not there. It's not good. They don't have enough. They don't have enough experience on that line, and these guys are just they're not ready for this moment. Especially against some of these good defensive fronts that you're seeing in college football in the SEC. Mississippi State can definitely play spoiler. They can move the ball. We talked about that. You were talking about for the Egg Bowl later this year playing spoiler for Ole Miss. So yeah, it's gonna be close. What's the spread on that? It's Texas like 7.5.
Yeah.
Archer's first SEC win last year was at home against Mississippi State, and he looked good in that game. So if Sark can just kind of plan up and keep it looking the same way as that, then never know what's gonna happen.
That's true. South Florida at Memphis. Memphis was 6-0 going into last week's matchup. Playing, they got caught by the fired coach syndrome. Trent Dilfer gets fired. UAB bounces back, gets a win at home, but they're only 5.5-point underdogs at home to rank South Florida. Arguably the biggest game in the American this week.
Yeah,
of the year. I mean, not this week. It's definitely the biggest game this week. Both potential playoff contenders if they win the conference and win out. Very interesting there in Memphis. I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis bounced back. They get that game out. Memphis is a different team at home, but that just had to be tough to lose to a team that just fired their coach on the road when you got stuff. The look ahead spot, classic look ahead spot.
That's tough for Memphis, who at one point was like the team in the American, was competing for New Year's Six Bowls.
Yeah,
fell to the wayside a little bit, but yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy to see that loss. And USF, their only loss this year is to Miami. So who knows what we're gonna see out of USF?
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy to see. Like you said, playoff contender. I saw they were like the 12 seed. Someone did a projection like I was running out. And so it's exciting to see. What time is that game on? 3:30.
I believe it's also a noon
start. Noon game? See,
that's what you got. A lot of noon starts.
A lot of multiple TVs. It's always point.
ESPN2 noon start. Just a couple other ones just to mention, because there's not really like we talked about the big ranked matchups, but this is more of a weekend where I feel like we're gonna get some chaos, like some crazy stuff's gonna happen.
Well, UCLA, Oregon, are we gonna see UCLA just keep on winning?
You mean Indiana?
Oh, UCLA,
Indiana.
Yes, UCLA. Indiana.
I don't think UCLA is gonna pull that off in Indiana at a noon start on coming out east. But you never know. That it's been an electric change since with Neuheisel in there.
He's not the coach. He's the OC.
He's not the coach.
Tim Skipper is done. He's the head coach.
But the offense is what needed to get going. And that's what he got.
Well, but it's like
he got Nico going.
Even like ESPN and like all this like anything. The Big Ten network, they're just like, look at Neuheisel, look at him going. It's like the dude's not the head coach. So Tim Skipper is like, you gotta give him his flowers too,
But here's the last couple of interesting ones I wanted to mention. Illinois, 3.5-point underdogs going out west to Washington. That's a real fun matchup. 3:30 on Big Ten Network there. BYU is 2.5-point underdogs at the Farm in Ames. Ames is a tough place to go. 3:30 start. They're coming off a huge rivalry win over Utah at home. I would say it's a favorite for a reason in that spot. Don't get tricked by the ranking, and it's going to be a real tough for BYU to go into.
It was. I mean, at one point this year, people were talking about Iowa State was going to be a playoff contender, and obviously they've had a mixed bag of a season, but that doesn't mean they can't spoil someone else's chances.
Still 5-2 though. I mean, it's not like they're falling off.
I think Big 12 is and obviously, I guess if the Big 12 is still in play, then and
it's 2 road losses is what they've had, and they're coming off a bye right now to get ready for this BYU game, so they're ready to go. They're raring to go there, and then we got to mention it. LSU hosting A&M because it's the number 3 team in the country, only 2.5-point favorites. Death Valley at night, and shoot, if A&M wins, it could be Brian Kelly's head. To be honest, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but fans are already kind of they've been iffy. Honestly, they've been iffy since it happened. Since he got hired,
doesn't fit the culture. Doesn't fit the culture of what that team and what that school is supposed to be.
Yeah, and so if they're out, they have a bye week next week. If they're out of the race going into November, it might be time to make a change. So just looking at that as a desperate spot for LSU as underdogs at home, Death Valley, all of that, but. All right, Mo. This is week 9. Next week, it's November football.
Can we agree now not to talk about Ohio State, Penn State for next week? We can just ignore
No, we're definitely talking Ohio State, Penn State. We have to. We got to do it. Big noon. Yes.
Yeah.
As of right now,
Is
do you
it
know what
big
the
noon?
spread is? Do you know what the spread is right now for this game?
I'm going to say 12.5.
-4 Ohio State.
What?
Now, maybe that gets bet back up, but that's what my app is saying right now. -4.
I don't know about that. I mean, that's, hey, good for Penn State. Just hang the banner, not double-digit underdog.
Banner. And Texas gets Vandy next week. We're going to have a week next week.
Texas Vandy.
We're going to have a week. There are some – we got the world's largest cocktail party next week. We got Oklahoma, Tennessee next week. It's going to be fun. But we just previewed week 9 for Alex Majka. This is Jake Majka. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy all the football. And we'll be back next week to preview week 10, double digits of the college football season. November football. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
All right. Talk soon.